All right, let's begin with this show that we call the Pixel Pulse. Well, and with
Like
that, what?
it sounded like what the hell was it called? That really like crazy meme game that like released is like Gross Squad or something like that.
Why? Hang on. I'm just realizing on the sound that you are insanely quiet. I don't think it's you. I think it's my sound setting. Hang on, lads. We got some technical difficulties here.
Cruelty Squad. There's a character that talked just like how that sounded.
No, I was doing an impression of Joe Biden. America can be described in one word.
Are we doing it live now?
Oh yeah, we're live. It's just they can't really hear you because you're really fucking quiet, and I don't know why. I'm trying to figure that out. But welcome. I don't think it's you.
Is my Discord volume low?
Hang on, I'm trying to figure. I can't. Now that I'm like streaming, it won't let. Oh, there we go. No, your Discord volume is at max. Let's go to the volume mixer, sound mixer settings. Speak.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know why that did that, but all right. There we go. Hi, welcome to the show. Melvin, intro now.
Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pixel Pulse. This is being hosted by, unfortunately, yours truly, with a friend named Gabe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, welcome. It's the first Pixel Pulse since the last episode of Pixel Pulse. How does that make you feel?
That's certainly dates and times this episode.
Yes.
We wanted to start off today with a quick and light little jaunt through the intro segment. I wanted to think of some poorly made hypotheticals. But, you know, I'm stupid, so I decided to let's go and take 3 AIs and paste all of those responses into them, and I'm going to pick some of the worst hypotheticals that we could get.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. So if ducks gained telepathy, but could only communicate with people who've eaten 3 pine cones, would geopolitics be more or less stable?
Am I supposed to respond to these, or are these like the headlines?
These are your questions.
Okay.
What we got. How many people on average do you think eat pine cones?
At least 6. I know you can eat pine cones in Breath of the Wild. I don't remember if they result in good food or not, but you can cook them. So there's that. Don't people actually like eat pine cones though, or no?
That's the thing. I'm sure there is like a small section of pine cone eat consumption. Are there any dishes with pine cones in them?
I mean, I could do without the pine, honestly. If they just make like cones, then
there we go.
That would be good because it could be for like ice cream, you know. Just like if we can just be less pineful, then that would be wonderful, in my opinion.
There's jam being made from pine cones.
Jam,
pine cone honey. Tea with pine cones and an alcohol tincture, I guess. And also pine cone Alfredo.
Yo, pine cone Alfredo.
So that was the first one. I was really mad.
Wait a minute. I went like brain dead for a second. I said, yo, pine cone Alfredo. And then I thought about it a little more. I was like, wait a minute. What does that mean? Exactly.
Like, Alfredo, but with pine, does it have chunks of pine cone in it mixed in? Is there like a pine cone sap that you need?
What do pine cones taste like? Do they taste like just like wood chips, or like do they have like their own flavor? Huh?
I can go grab one real quick and find out, I guess.
No, I think we're fine. I don't think I need you to do that for
I can
me.
swap this over
That
to camera
sounds
and like literally like go on phone and like
that
give the
sounds.
audience live from the scene.
Someone said kind of nutty. Nut. No.
Please do not have nut in your mouth. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to eat pine cones. Preferably, if there could be no pine cones in my consumption of diet, then that would be just, I think, perfect, really, for me. What's this next hypothetical that you have?
All right, imagine if instead of taxes, the government collected teeth, but only the ones you weren't using, yet they somehow always knew. How do you avoid this scenario?
Only the teeth that you've recently bitten into pine cones with. Ergo, I would be fine because I've never eaten a pine cone.
No. They're taking your teeth that you don't use.
Oh fuck! So if I use, what if I am like one of those?
I think.
What if I'm like one of those people that use like 80% of their brain, and I'm like I use 80% of my teeth or 100% of my teeth? Like,
but
then
that's
what?
The thing, though. Like, how do you not use teeth?
Well, I mean,
food touches everything, right?
It doesn't touch the walls.
Do you chew on one side of your mouth?
Sometimes it depends on like how stuffed of food I got. You know, like I don't know. It's like I don't like put things on every tooth at the same time. You know, so like
and I guess
how do you collect data on this?
How do you know which teeth are being viably used? Do the government come in and like check for degradation? Do you see wear and tear on the different teethies?
They check for residue, teeth residue within your mouth, and they're like, teeth number 27 over here. You have not really been using this one as much as the others. We're just gonna have to take that one. Okay.
We've noticed that we see a lack of burger grease on this side of your mouth in these coordinates. The left molar on the back right is currently experiencing 3% hamburger grease. That we think that tooth is not being used.
Excellent. What's this third hypothetical that you got for me?
All right, let's see. This one's gonna be a nice one. Are you ready? She caught what I said. What if mirrors? Sorry, instead of
you good? Is this one spicy?
Some of these I start them and I'm like, maybe those aren't going to be the theme we should go for.
Okay.
If you could teleport anywhere, but each jump erased one memory you didn't get to choose, how long before you forget why you kept jumping?
I would jump once, and then that would be like I just have really shit luck, and that would be the first one to go. I'd be like, what happened?
Like, what happens if you just lose the ability to remember that you can teleport?
Yeah, and then I just keep, and then I'm just like, where the fuck am I? Why am I in Dubai?
And it's like, is it like a muscle that controls that teleportation?
Is it like?
Am I accidentally going to trigger this every time I go to take a shit and I have to push too hard?
Is this like Dragon Ball where it's like it has to be like a conscious like effort and you have to like picture where you're going? Or is this just like you get a part of your body that just like is like this is the duplexer, and the duplexer allows you to not only move into duplexes, but it allows you to teleport, This is probably the best intro we've ever had to this show. Welcome to Pixel Pulse, by the way. This is the show where we do once a month now, and where we talk about video games. I have with me Melvin. Melvin, world. I'd like to introduce you to. Hello. Shake
Hello,
hands.
everyone.
Shake hands with the
Uh,
world right now.
I'm trying to. They can't hear it.
No. What? Can you at least shake hands with the translator that you have with you on your side for the
I
sign
don't
language?
actually have one here today, Gabe. Which is why you
Fucking.
might find some things very unintelligible.
Yeah, I don't have one with me either. I think we should stop killing them. Like that sounds like if we wanted to like keep having them, like I really
Oh, I
think it would
didn't.
be
I assumed we weren't killing more than one. I always thought it was just the one.
no, we've killed hundreds of them by now. What are you talking about? We've
That
we've
sounds.
we've removed entire villages of sign language translators. This, on the show of Pixel Pulse, we talk about video games. Little did you know. And today we have a few things for you. We're going to talk about Redacted. We're going to talk about Redacted. We're going to talk about Redacted. And we're going to talk about Melvin. What video games have you been playing?
Pixel pose esta patrocinado por tu corbiano local para levantar el cerebro.
You tried. And honestly, here you go. Here you go, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Hey,
what language was that?
anyways,
Was that Italian or Spanish?
that was Spanish.
Okay.
It was Pixel Post is sponsored by your local government to brainwash you.
Oh. Okay.
Because I told you might lose some translation here without the translator. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So for me, I've been obsessively swiping in between 3 different games. I've been playing an insane amount of the Oblivion remaster because
Fuck
I
yeah.
don't know why they just decided to pull that out of nowhere and just drop that on us. And I was doing good. I was doing good mentally and physically.
And then it came
I
out.
now I'm just dirty. Now I'm dirty. I haven't left my room in like 2 days.
You probably shower. It sounds good.
I do kind of. I go out there with a hose and I spritz a little bit on me.
And then you're
A
like,
little
okay, it's
bit.
back to Oblivion. Now.
Yeah, like I already put like 60 hours into it already.
Jesus. Well,
It
I'm
is
sure
my
we'll
favorite
talk.
game of all time, actually.
Out of all, so we're gonna talk more about Oblivion as your topic, but just to briefly touch on it before we get to that. So Oblivion is your favorite. Would you say is that because of the remaster or it always was this way? Because I
It's
thought
always been
yours
this way.
was like Fallout 3.
Oh, I meant like for the series. My bad, but
Oh, okay.
uh, no. So Oblivion has been my first like experience with Bethesda games ever since I was like 11.
Yeah.
Or no, that came out in like 2006, I think.
Something like
2009.
that.
Oh
I
no, it was
couldn't tell you.
2006. Yeah, so Oblivion is as old as my younger brother.
Okay.
I was I was 9 years old when Oblivion came out, and that was my first like RPG I ever played, and it was a good one. It was rough. It was tough. It put some hair on my chest.
So
I've also been playing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I've only ever played 30 minutes of Skyrim and like an hour of Fallout 3, and that's my entire experience with Bethesda games. I've not really dipped my toes into them. It's on the list. You know, I thought about giving the Oblivion remaster a try once things settle down with my move and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if I should play that or Skyrim because I already have Skyrim on my Switch. I just haven't really played it.
I guess my question here is: do you like guns more, or do you like swords and fantasy more?
So I'm not really a fan. That's the one major thing for me, right? I'm not really a fan of like Tolkien-esque like medieval fantasy. It can work for me because I like Zelda, but Zelda isn't like strictly like medieval fantasy. It does like technology sometimes randomly.
This one does too. Like there's some dwarven technologies that are mixed in there where it's like steam powered stuff.
Okay.
This Oblivion's more kind of like older, kind of like D&D a little bit in like their
Yeah.
fantasy, because Oblivion was kind of came out ever since like the 90s, and it's been like its own. It's tried very hard to have its own identity, essentially.
But D&D
Like they-
itself, I would say if it leans towards anything in particular, it would be that Tolkien-esque like medieval fantasy. So that,
sometimes like the especially original D&D it did, but
yeah.
as we've gotten a little bit further down the road, there has been unfortunately the other option of fantasy that we have, and that is the George R. R. Martin route.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of been like the big change is you either have fantasy where your heroes win, or you have fantasies where no one's really happy in the end.
Especially the viewers in terms of George R. R. Martin and
Oblivion tends
shows.
to have a kind of like realism to it, where death happens in this world.
Yeah, you can just like kill like any NPC, right? In
Yeah,
these
like that,
games.
and like actual like main characters will die, and like you originally in like Morrowind, that's the third one.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally like kill an NPC and cause your game to pretty much be failed for the rest of that run. It would be like the
The
tides, the weaves of fate has been cut.
the only
And screw.
thing I know about Oblivion in particular is I know that in the original version, like all the voices were done by like 6 people for like the entire
Yeah,
country, which is funny. And then
yep.
I specifically know of like a couple of lines, and like there's the one where like the lady like rereads her entire line and they just leave it in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was in the original game, and like it's actually in the remaster too.
Yeah, I heard in the remaster they actually fully lip sync it too. It's like great.
Yeah. It's they actually like they add so much to it to where like there's even extra voice dialogue, but then they just cleaned up the dialogue that was already there. So like there's really nothing lost in this remaster.
Yeah. We'll talk about the remaster more in a moment, but what else have you been playing lately, man?
So I unfortunately got real hooked into Marvel, or not Marvel Rivals, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Does it run for
That's pretty.
you?
It runs really well for me actually.
What's your specs? I forget. You have a decent PC, right?
I'm currently rocking a 4060 on my graphics
4060.
card, and then I have a 6-core AMD processor that's pretty decent.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact name of it off the top of my head, but it has like 3.8 hertz
Okay.
per core.
I don't know like core specs like that, but that sounds
It's
pretty
good.
good.
I
Yeah.
can run like what the hell was it? What was the game that recently came out that everyone's like, "Oh, I can't run this on Ultra."
I've heard that
Uh,
was the thing for Monster Hunter, definitely.
yeah, I can kind of run that on Ultra. If I prefer frames, I'm always gonna pick
Yeah.
frames over looks personally, and so I always go down to like medium or
Hmm.
low, even if I have like a god tier PC. That's just who I am.
And
That's what
you
I just.
like so you do you still have a PS5?
Yeah, my brother uses that primarily.
I was gonna say, like, how often do you use your PS5, or are you just mostly PC at this point?
I prefer my PC. Uh,
Definitely.
when there was exclusives for PlayStation, that's when I would use my PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've just been releasing everything over to PC. Like Spider-Man 1 and 2 are here. The Last of Us 2 remastered showed up on PC like I think the same day that it released.
Right.
Like there's really no exclusives for PlayStation anymore. And it's starting to make it to where I just don't use my console anymore.
What's your thoughts on like timed exclusives, where like it comes out for like a year, like FF7 Rebirth and FF16, and then eventually it comes to PC?
So I have two takes on this. From the business standpoint, I understand why there should be timed exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
What if there wasn't timed exclusives? What's really the difference at the end of the day between the Xbox and the PlayStation? It would be the community.
Price, yeah, and that, yeah.
community, like your friends. Let me see the price of a PS5 real quick versus an Xbox. I know Xbox just increased their prices.
That's another topic we have for today. Oh
Yeah, I
boy.
can't. I don't know the exact prices on that. So pre-owned PlayStation 5 from GameStop is $430. Series X, GameStop, and then oh, oh no, there's me. Okay, yeah, and so Microsoft Xbox Series X console is $579 used.
Jeez.
That's fucking crazy. I
I'm
didn't realize it
surprised to
was
see
that.
the PS5 that low, actually. Like it,
Four
what is
thirty
the
for a used play. That's what the disc one I think too. Actually, mind
what's
you.
the going price for it when when it's new, I guess? Because that can vary
There's
from thing to thing.
here's a straight from PlayStation itself. A PS5 Slim Edition, which is based off of the PlayStation 1, is $500.
Hmm.
Which apparently that's available, I think, actually. So if
Yeah,
anyone wants to
actually,
get a PlayStation 5, that's the
it's
PS1.
just
There
straight
you
up
go.
available. Yeah. And the digital console is 400. Really? Wow.
That's
Okay.
crazy difference in price.
Yeah, actually, especially considering the price of the Switch 2 being 450. I mean, the Switch 2, as we now have learned, is not quite a PS5, but it's somewhere between a 4 Pro and a PS5. So like it's up there, but I didn't realize PS5s were that cheap. I thought they were like $500, like an
They were
Xbox.
back in the day. If like right here, like a new PlayStation 5 Slim from Best Buy is 499.
Oh, okay, I see. I see. And
And the
that's
Slim looks like it comes with the actual disc tray, so that's why it's 500.
okay.
Now that being said, there is a digital only version of Xbox, but from what I understand, I think the smaller digital only version does perform worse though.
Hmm. Like it has like
But
worse
if
specs.
I think so, I'm gonna look and compare before I say that out loud. But um, it's 350 for a digital Xbox console.
Okay. And what is the new Xbox console price? I think it's going up by 100, right?
Holy sh! Never mind. I almost said something, but that was
You're
the
allowed to
Google
say the
AI said
shit word.
no, but yeah, no, they are going up by $100.
Yeah.
So if you want to get your Xbox still for $500, go to GameStop. Immediately, actually no, for $579 you can get that from GameStop. But from Xbox's actual fucking website, it is $600 for a new Xbox.
Jesus. Okay, so I'm kind of dumb, but also Microsoft's marketing sucks. What is the actual name of the latest Xbox? Is it the Series X or is
Yes,
that
that
the
is the one
last
that is
one?
current. So the Series X is the one that's the disc tray and like the newest one.
Okay.
Um, the Series S is the we'll say S is for software, digital.
Hmm.
For context for people out there, by the way, I'm looking at the specs right now. The $379 Xbox I mentioned only has 512 gigabytes.
So what I'm
For you to,
seeing on the when I just typed in Xbox Series S, the first thing that came up for me was $637.98 for Xbox Series X 1 terabyte carbon black. But
yep,
it also shows, and that's from Walmart. It also shows the Series S 1 terabyte black for 474.97.
here's a good website if you want to take a look and see. I don't know if you have the stream up on your side or if you're showing them what you're looking at.
I'm not.
But here is a good website that literally from the source that compares them. Like
Okay.
they have an all digital robot white Xbox you can get for 550. Oh, there you go. There's a Series X for 550. It's the all white one. And then they have a Cosmic Galaxy one that looks really spiffy for 2 terabytes at $730.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
but for you to have a 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, it would cost you $430. So would you rather buy a PlayStation 5 used with a disk tray with 1 terabyte of data for 430, or would you rather buy the Xbox Series S for 1 terabyte?
I mean, can I say something controversial?
Yeah, go ahead.
PC.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, at this point, so what I say is consoles are good for like if you don't want to fuck around with like PCs, because like PCs you kind of have to do a little bit more legwork to get a game running, whereas like ideally with it when it comes to a console game, it should be like optimized for the hardware as best as it can, right? You don't have to really fuck with the settings that much. So that to me is what like the application of a console is.
Well, like
But
consoles are supposed to be like entry points that are
yeah,
affordable for common people to be able to show up and be able to get into gaming and stuff like that.
I
Like,
agree.
I don't think that like I don't think my younger brother, who had never built his own PC or anything like that before, like it makes sense for me to give him a Switch and give him a PlayStation because those are streamlined processes to media and entertainment that would help him understand and like get his dip his toe into that world.
Yeah.
And it's like computers understandably do have a level or like a difficulty curve on some level. You have to
Hmm.
like Google stuff, you have to learn, you have to figure out how to use your computer to use it
Especially
properly.
if you're just buying parts as opposed to pre-built.
Exactly. Like, cause if you don't like even spend the time to research voltage or anything like that, you can end up like shorting something. Or if you don't look at the proper sizes or anything like that, or even if it's compatible with your rig, you could end up spending hundreds of dollars on a part that doesn't even fit. And so it's like there is a higher bar of entry for PC. Like my PC is probably like $1,200
Hmm.
at this point over years of like adding parts to it. And
I think
so that's
I think
why
mine's about that too, maybe 15.
yeah. See, you have like a nicer case too, I think, or you used to. Mine's
I have the
not
same
bad
case that
now.
I've always had. I've never upgraded my case. At some point I'm gonna need to though. It's old.
I just felt that's true. I mean, yeah, you can get like a nicer, cleaner looking one too, though, like a one with more
Hmm.
space inside. But and in this scenario where it's for context, I just recently bought my brother a pre-built computer for 500 and some dollars. It does not have a graphics card, so you can't play like super extensive things, but it's got onboard graphics that can let him play Minecraft on Ultra.
There you go.
So it's like,
Wait a minute. Really? Minecraft can run without a GPU?
yes, up to 45 frames, as said on their specs, but it runs
Huh.
fine without a
Huh.
GPU, period.
I mean,
Yeah,
even with a GPU, I struggle to run Minecraft sometimes. So it must be like specifically tailor built with that in mind then.
yeah, you can always
Or
run
maybe
Minecraft
I'm
on
not.
two
Maybe I don't have
laptops.
my shits optimized. I don't know.
That could be very well it too, or like from what I've known, we've always had our Minecrafts modded on some way or form too with the graphics.
Yeah.
At least I did. Um, and so to come back to this, so for $100 more, $110 more, you get 8 more teraflops processing power. So it's just 3 times more processing speed on the Series X versus the digital one.
Teraflops is a
Apparently,
funny word.
I know, right? Apparently, Series X has 4K while the Series S doesn't.
Okay.
Oh, I take it back. You can just get a Series X in all digital. That's why it
So,
was 540,
so
550
then
instead
what
of
the hell is a Series S?
I guess it's the budget console for people to get into gaming with.
Hmm. I
But
guess.
it's upsetting to see that. Like it's that why would they? I don't know the exact like increase they added to it though.
Yeah. I guess since we're already talking about price, initially I was going to have your topic go first, but I think this would roll nicely into what my topic is. As for games I'm playing, I've literally been playing nothing since the last episode. I've been moving, so um
Oh, holy shit! I was wrong, by the way. Again.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, never mind. I wasn't. So the Series S one went from $299 to 370, and then the Series X went from 500 to 600.
Okay.
Now this does go really well into what your topic was. Go ahead and continue. My bad, because
Yeah, no problem.
I wonder
So
if this is in response to Nintendo showing off their prices.
I think that is definitely some of it, especially when it comes to raising the price of the games. But for my topic, this episode, I wanted to have a bit of an open discussion and try to have like a mature, open discussion and genuinely just try to figure out what the fuck is going on with the video games industry as far as pricing is concerned. I do want to say the last episode of Pixel Pulse was like, oops, let's talk about Switch 2 with me and Quinn. And, more information has come out since that previous episode, such as the pre-orders actually did eventually go live. There was a scare regarding the price potentially increasing regarding United States tariffs, which we won't get too much into, but it is important to bring up in this conversation because I do believe that has a very large potential impact on the market. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be affecting that much as of right now, but it still has the potential to come back. So when it comes to I don't know why particularly Xbox is making the jump with the price increases right now. But Melvin, can you get me the list of the increased prices? I think they had a chart somewhere. Do you know where that is? I'm trying to find it.
For the Switch 2 or for the Xbox?
For the Xbox stuff. Regarding Switch 2.
So the Xbox was the digital console got bumped by $70.
Well, there was a bunch of stuff that got price increases, right? Like pretty much everything.
I think all their controllers did too.
Okay, hang on. Let's Xbox price. Let's get this.
Xbox prices increase. Okay. So it's Microsoft raises recommended retail pricing for its Xbox consoles and controllers around the world this week from AP News. Its Xbox Series S, for example, now starts at $379.99 in the US, up to $80 from the $300 tag that debuted in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Its more powerful Series X will be $600 going forward.
And the Series X digital, by the way, is $549.
And then Xbox controllers are going to start being $80.
I'm seeing Xbox wireless core is $64.99, according to this one that I found.
I misread it. Those first-party games are going to be $80 now.
So the controllers, it looks like I'm reading here. This is from Icon Era. I went to Google Images to find this. I'll throw this image on screen so that way you guys can see what I'm looking at here. But from what I'm seeing here is Xbox, the console itself has increased, but controllers seem to be staying the same, except for the special edition and limited edition. What are those exactly?
I don't know, to be honest. Unless they're probably the ones that have different D-pads, because some of them let you swap interchangeable D-pads on them.
Okay, well, the special edition's going from $69.99 to $79.99, and the Xbox Wireless Controller Limited Edition is going from $79.99 to $89.99. But
Jesus.
The wireless core controller, with the regular and the color, the price is staying the same, which is $64.99 and $69.99 respectively. The Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 is also staying at its same price for the core, but the full version of that, I don't really know what that means, is going from $179.99 to $199.99. I don't. What is this $200 controller? What is that? What the fuck is that? I have no idea. I for the record do not follow the Xbox market.
Elite, see, it has like a weird sundial for the D-pad.
Yeah, let me look at this. Wireless Xbox Elite Controller Series 2 full. Let me look at what this is. Oh, this is the one that has like the interchangeable buttons. Yeah. Okay, I have seen this. Yeah, I don't know about $200 controller though. Like, god damn. That's like
I wouldn't want to
originally
use it. I wouldn't
yeah,
want to use it.
yeah, it's like half the price of the console itself, even with the new price increase. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I get like if that's what you're using, that's what you're using, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
why at that point? That is so crazy.
I mean, I'm all for having like customizable controllers, and like the moddable buttons that they have on the back is really nice. But yeah, I would. That is just like insane to me, and it has to be selling. Like for them to feel bold enough to increase the price of it, it has to be selling at least somewhat. Like they wouldn't give a price increase even with the world economy going the way it is if this thing wasn't selling. And it's never received a price drop.
Just like how some people bought the Switch too. Like
Yeah.
people are buying it.
Yeah. And then the only other
people that bought Switch 2s already.
Yeah, I'm so regarding Switch 2, this was of course before I looked into the pricing of the other consoles. I felt like it was fairly like it's definitely higher than I expected. Like I was expecting 400 for the console, and I think 450 is a yikes from me.
I will say, just to come out and say it now.
Mm-hmm.
So PlayStation directly from their website, it is $400 for Astrobot and the digital edition console, new.
Mm-hmm.
It is $450 for the disc tray version of the console with Astrobot new.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy to me that
it's the same price. Yeah. I will say the Switch 2, as far as like a handheld console situation is concerned, is much higher specs than I was genuinely expecting. Like 120 FPS and 4K is not something I would expect both. Like I was expecting one or the other, but it can do both, which is insane. Not at the same time, mind you, but
I'll always take 120.
Same here. Like Metroid Prime 4 having like the selectable, like you can go 4K mode or you can go 120 FPS mode. Like, no question, I'm going 120 FPS mode. I don't even have a 4K screen in my monitor setup. I have a 4K TV, but like that's in the living room. I don't have that in the stream room anymore. So like I will only ever get to see what 4K game looks like when I'm in the living room, and even then, I think I'd just rather have the 120. But even still, regarding that, I will say I am impressed with the specs of the Switch 2. I am curious regarding the pricing. I'm curious how much of it was, preemptive, like anticipating tariffs, how much of it was like greed, and how much of it was like necessary, I guess, at like to cover the cost of the system itself. And I'm no expert on all of this, but I figured we could at least speculate a little bit on this. And I think that Xbox's price increases don't have anything to do with the Switch itself, but rather the tariff situation. And I think it's Xbox trying to expect the tariffs, but correct me if I'm wrong. Currently, the tariffs as far as like imported electronics from China are like they're not fully going through, or are they? Are you familiar with the situation?
Dude, there it is. Xbox consoles are primarily manufactured in China.
Okay.
with the majority of productions taking place at facilities in Shenzhen, Foxconn.
But even still, like, hang on, let me. Uh, Again, I don't really love to talk about politics on my stream or the show, but I think this is important. So let's see, U.S. tariffs from China on electronics. Because I thought I heard, and I could be wrong, I thought I heard that electronics were becoming exempt from this. I don't know if that's true. Um, no, it seems like certain extent. Okay, U.S. tariffs on imports from China was 20%. It's now at 145%. Certain exemptions for electronic products imported from China were announced on April 13th, but they have been followed by announcements that new tariffs will be implemented. So there are some exemptions. I still don't know exactly how much that exemption means, though. Like, I don't think, from what this is sounding like, it's not going to be like a complete like bypass of it. But I know a lot of Switch 2s are being manufactured in, I think, Taiwan. It also is being produced in China, but I think a lot of them started to be moved from Taiwan. And currently, a lot of them are already in America, like they're sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So, at least for launch pricing, they will not be impacted by tariffs whatsoever.
I just genuinely think that so Facebook did the same thing when they did the VR. They increased the price on their like Quest 2s after like so many amount of times. I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that there's a standard that electronics are getting more expensive as time goes on. Your console should be older. Your console should be cheaper.
Definitely.
That is how it's always worked, and I hate that it's starting to look the other way. And I'm fucking actually getting annoyed by it because people are going to keep buying it because there's no other options and they think they can get away with it when it's fucking ridiculous that they're upcharging on people like that.
Right.
And I hope the market self corrects. I hope fucking Xbox fails now because of that for a good long while. Because why?
Yeah. So regarding me and the Switch 2, I wasn't genuinely able to afford one. I missed the pre-orders, both because I forgot it was happening when it was, and also just like for those who don't know and can't tell by like the reverb in the room because I don't have all the acoustic foam up yet. I just moved and I'm working on like a makeshift PC setup right now that's not like fully complete. And the Switch itself was not something I was going to be able to afford. The Switch 2, $450 is not something that I can just drop and be like, oh yeah, goodbye. Like, even for like PlayStation or Xbox, like that was the biggest thing that prevented me from buying those consoles for all these years. I was just gonna have to find another way to get it or get it not at launch. However, and I realize for me, this is an incredibly like lucky thing that happened. So like I struggle to talk about the price of the system itself because of my situation, but essentially my grandmother waited in line online for like a pre-order because my uncle asked her to because he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get one. Turns out they both got one, and my grandmother is giving me the one like for free. So like, that's
Jesus.
like insanely lucky of me. Yeah. She's like, this is your Christmas present this year from me. And I think my sister is also giving her some money. So it's also from my sister. So like, it's insanely lucky of me to be able to be in this situation where I'm getting like the Mario Kart bundle Switch to, for no cost to me. But like, the price of that system should be stated that like that is not something that people can just throw out. And it seems like it's still selling out regardless, which is surprising to me. Like pre-orders I hear were still like sold out everywhere you went. But I don't think we're necessarily looking at a Wii U 2 situation for those who are hoping for doom and gloom from Nintendo, which I get it. I kind of am, because I'm even more upset than I am at the price of the system. You know, I can get over myself with that. I'm more upset
I don't
at the
know.
price of the games.
Now that I know that the cost of a brand new PlayStation is the cost of a Switch 2, I'm a little bit more like chill about the price now.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the Switch 2, it you know, a lot of one thing I keep seeing a lot of like publications say is that the Switch 2 is like specs of a PS4. It really isn't. It's at least comparable to a Pro, but I think it's somewhere in between a Pro and a PS5. Obviously, comparisons will be made, and I think the PS5, especially when you consider the PS5 Pro, is a much more favorable and powerful console. But like for a handheld PC to be able to do 120 FPS, I mean, even the Steam Deck at its highest price, the $700 one, can only do 90. So, you know, I think that like the Switch 2, I'm not concerned on specs. I'm rather impressed on it in that regard. I still think 450 is just like, yeah, that's something that people, I mean, of course they're going to have to save for. Even $300 for the price of the original Switch isn't something you can just throw away. But like 450, like $400 to me was like, that's like, I think pushing it, but like still like right at the line of like where I'm like, I don't know. And then 450 is even yiker from me. And then when you consider the Mario Kart bundle being 500, you are getting an $80 game for $30 cheaper, which is nice, but that is more what I want to talk about with this segment than anything is the price of games themselves, because Xbox has also announced that their first party games, and I think they're retroactively applying this to stuff, not just new stuff. Their first party games are going to, instead of be 60 or 70, are going to hit that $80 price point that we're seeing Nintendo get away with Mario Kart. I'm still getting used to the $70 price tag, and that to me is still kind of an issue for me. And now $80 is fucking insane.
It's only gonna get worse when GTA 5 drops or GTA 6 drops. I think I can't wait to find out how much that's going to be.
Yeah, there's the common rumor is that game will be $100, and like at first I was like, no, it won't. But honestly, based on the way that the market is going right now, I think it's very possible that it could be even higher than that. I don't want to see it that. I mean, I've never really gotten into GTA, so for me, it's not, you know, it's not probably going to be a game I'm going to get day one. It might be a game I get eventually because I want to play GTA. I don't. That's a separate topic, but regarding like GTA 5, 6 potentially being like, I've heard people throw around the number 120, just like double the price of a $60 game because that's the amount of effort into it, quote unquote, is like fucking like I don't know, like how are people able to afford that? Granted, you know, this is a game that'll probably last people thousands or hundreds of hours at least, but I mean, for me, I don't know.
Yeah, there will definitely be a lot of game time like shown and played with this because there's still people like we can go on there now, and I'll go ahead and bring up well, this isn't gonna be a viable number because this is gonna be on PC, and GTA 6 is not coming to PC immediately.
Mm-hmm. What's it coming to?
Consoles first, and then it'll come back.
Is it coming to PS5 and Xbox, or just one or the other?
Both.
Okay,
they're gonna do the mainline ones, possibly even the Switch 2. I've heard rumors.
That would be cool.
But for context on like what Rockstar can get away with, GTA 5 is number 15 on the most played games right now on Steam. They have currently 86,416 current users right now.
Sorry, say that one more time.
They have 86,000 players still, and then they have 100,000 as like a cap.
And how many copies of this game were sold? Like, this game is like insanely successful, right?
Yes, because it also has that problem where they what's the word I'm thinking of here? They multi-released it.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing for GTA 5, it is the second
GTA
best-selling
5
video game of all time with 210 million copies. The only other game that's higher than that, I believe, is Minecraft, somewhere around 300 million, I think. Let's see, Minecraft sales. Yeah, 300 million. Which just like fucking insane to think about.
Like so, yeah, 210 million copies.
Yeah.
We'll look at the top selling games of all time just to compare.
Yeah, let's get that top 10 best selling games of all time list. Minecraft.
Probably Tetris and
Oh,
Mario.
this is AI.
Holy
Hang
shit.
on, let's get the Wikipedia.
I've got it. So Minecraft is at 350 million, which makes sense. I know I've bought Minecraft 4 times, 5 times.
Yeah.
And then GTA 5 is sitting at 210 million.
The amount of copies sold difference between GTA 5 and number 3 is kind of insane, and number 3 was a pack-in.
Number 3 was a pack-in.
It's Wii Sports.
Number 3 is? Yep, Wii Sports.
Spoiled
I
it.
guess you fucking...
I fucking ruined it. It's Wii Sports at 82,900,000. No, I think in some regions Wii Sports wasn't a pack-in. I think in Japan it wasn't, but even still,
I think it was like a $60 game normally.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, fuck, dude. And then Ark Survival Evolved. How the hell is that game? I've never heard anyone who's played Ark Survival except me. Have you played it, Melvin? I think you might be the only one that I know.
I do own it.
I've never really even seen this game that much.
I understand why it has that, because this game, it's one of those massive. It was like the first like survival genre game, kind of one of the first ones to really take off.
Yeah.
The big thing about this one is it has a massive community behind it, to the point to where like there will be clans of people on servers that dominate and have like wage slaves and shit inside the clan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Team Fortress 2, which you know what? Where's Team Fortress 2 at on this list? How many copies did Team Fortress 2 sell?
Doesn't look like it's in the top list. It's not the top 10. How many is this showing?
They made it free to play like super early is the problem.
Yeah. Number 4 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That doesn't surprise me at 75,810, which I'm going to just go ahead and say it. When it comes to Mario Kart World's pricing, I think it's less to do with what the game itself is, and it's more to do with, if I'm being totally honest with you, I think Mario Kart World's pricing at $80 is entirely greed, and I think it's because of how well this game sold. Nintendo's like, yes, but what if more?
I'm not that upset by $80 game tags. I knew it was coming.
I knew it was going to come eventually.
Real quick before we move off.
What?
I looked it up. Team Fortress 2 sold 81.8 million units, according to Steam.
81.8. That's weird. Why isn't it on this list? I guess because a lot of that wasn't sales necessarily. Like, is that just talking about downloads?
I think it might just be that too.
Mm.
But there was a time when TF2 was sold for like a while.
Right.
So
I guess the metric, like this Wikipedia article is just talking about sales. I'm not seeing. Yeah, how many copies of TF2 were actually sold is the question. It's like separately from downloads. Someone on Reddit said at least 10. Thanks. I'm sure if I really scrounged around this Wikipedia article, I could find the exact metric I'm looking for, but it's not right at the top, ergo I'm lazy. But yeah, I mean, $80 price tags on games is like I understand games themselves are a luxury item, and like especially with the way the economy is going. Like, it's not viable for games to just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and not increase the sale or the selling price. That's, I think, why you see so many like game publishers like push for like live service games where you can constantly make money from them. Because quite honestly, I don't think, unless you're selling like a mega hit video game, you know, even $1 million in sales at $60 for some of these games budgets doesn't get you back what you just made. Because some of these games have budgets in the billions, you know. So I don't know. It's a complicated subject, and obviously I'm not happy about it. Obviously, I'm still gonna fork over the money to get the games I'm interested in, but it does
You know,
put
nothing will
me,
change because of it, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But for me, it's now become a thing when it comes to $70 and $80 games. Personally speaking, where I really have to like it doesn't seem like it's that much to ask for just $20 more when I was originally going to spend, you know, $60 on it. But realistically, like that's significant. And, you know,
That's a meal. That's like
yeah,
a meal for
that's more than a
people.
meal. That's a meal for two people. Yeah. Or at least two meals solo, you know.
It's like I guess under their assumptions, there's maybe in their minds we're all supposed to be getting paid more slightly. Maybe we're just
but
maybe they think maybe they think, oh, we waited 5 years for your GTA 6. Maybe that means they have enough time to save up that extra $30.
yeah, unfortunately that's not kind of what's happening though. And I understand, you know, for the game developer that's not their fault, but just like systematically our wages aren't really going up that much for like the base wages. And so there's just going to be a lot of, especially younger people, which I feel is like gaming's biggest demographic really, is like people in their early 20s. Yeah, I mean older people too than that, but I feel like those are the most likely. Like those are the people that game developers I feel like should be targeting their sales towards, because if it turns into something that they end up really liking and then they are maybe new to games around that time and stick with their whole lives, you know, that's a sale for, you know, 30, 40 years from now as well, potentially. So I think it's impactful to be able to try to sell to that demographic, but those people at that age, generally speaking, aren't making money that can just like throw away that much money just like that. And that's obviously a topic bigger than Pixel Pulse. I think that's a whole worldwide systematic problem, but it's disappointing. I feel like in the case of Mario Kart in particular, it feels more to me like not like I'm impressed with what I've seen of Mario Kart World, and I haven't gotten a chance to play it at any of those like early demos because there weren't a lot of them in the States. But I don't know if this game really justifies the $80 price tag. And even with that like direct from a few weeks back, it really didn't do much to really to be like, yeah, this feels like an $80 video game. This feels premium. It feels great from what I'm looking at it. It feels like it's more than Mario Kart 8, and it feels like defining in that way. Or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it feels substantial, but I don't know if it's going to justify that $80 price tag. But maybe I'm just salty about it. I don't know.
I just don't. I don't buy Mario Kart at full price. Period. Why
Right.
would I pay? I wanted to pay more.
Right. And like Nintendo games already have this thing because their developers are kind of a stick in their ass where they and this is a real thing too, where like the developers feel like their games are more premium than other games on the market, and that is why they do not drop the price of it. because they're like, this is the highest value game that you can get. And that's, to me, is just like ego, big brain, greed shit. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, I love Nintendo games. Don't get me wrong. I mostly only play Nintendo games. But like, that to me is just like insanely tone deaf. And like, you can get a more substantial experience than Tears of the Kingdom with a $20 indie game, you know? Like, maybe for not as many hours, depending on what you're playing. I mean, Stardew Valley, arguably, maybe. Or like Minecraft, which was initially indie. But like, I don't know. I feel like the fact that Nintendo games don't go on sale is like baffling to me. I will say, you know, if you're buying a Switch 2 and you're interested in Mario Kart, you should go for that bundle because you will be saving $30 on it, which for Nintendo is like an insane price drop. But I keep seeing that, like, and like no one's like really corroborating this story, but like I also keep seeing on Nintendo's promotional stuff that Mario Kart bundle is only a limited time thing. And after fall, they're not going to be selling that bundle anymore. It's just going to be standard Switch 2 bundle, which is like, why? Like, why wouldn't you continue to sell that?
That might be, if it's in the fall. Well, wait, so when does the new Donkey Kong game come out?
A month after the release.
They very well might just be swapping the game out for a different one.
Maybe. I feel like Mario Kart is definitely going to be their highest
I think Mario
selling
Kart is
game.
I think the Mario Kart one's going to be the one to go for. But I could see them doing that, though, because that's what like PlayStation does. PlayStation has like a bundle that was originally God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok with PlayStation, and then now it's Astrobot. It very well could just be they put that up there as like fall because they might just swap the games out.
If that ends up being the case, that'll be cool.
Yeah, the game entirely.
Yeah, that's what I'm fearful of right now, because there's been no indication that there is anything else. And Nintendo's really never, aside from the Wii U with like the deluxe version of Wii U having Nintendo Land, Nintendo's never done like a limited bundle game. Like the Wii had Wii Sports in the United States and Europe, but that was just like a gimme. Like, not very many people, I think, would have probably bought Wii Sports if it weren't for that. I personally think. And it's nice to see, like, so like the Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which really should have been a bundled game, is only $10. So I don't know if you saw that, Melvin, but like the Switch 2 Welcome Tour is like this, like, essentially like playable manual for the system. It's kind of neat. It has like these little mini games, and it's cute, and it's only $10. I still don't think very many people are going to buy that, but
yeah,
for $10,
what the hell is gonna charge for that?
I will say for $10, I'll fucking take it, because 1-2 Switch was a full 60, and so was its sequel. Actually, no, the sequel was 50, I think. But still, 1-2 Switch was not a $60 game, and it was sold full price as if it were, and that should have been a fucking pack-in game.
That should. I don't know if that would have been better as the Wii Sports equivalent for the Switch, to be honest.
What do you mean?
I don't think the 1-2 Switch was really good at all.
It really wasn't, but like, if they wanted to like showcase like what, like, 1-2 Switch was a fine demonstration of what Joy-Con can do, but it really was just like a non-game. Like, you just look, like, the game itself tells you not to even look at the game, and the game is just like PowerPoint slideshows, more or less, and it just tells you what to do, and then you do the thing, and it's silly, but it's like, it's not fun. And then no one asked for the sequel, and then no one bought the sequel. And I feel like $10. So like Bill Trinan from Nintendo stated that like the Switch 2 is going to have like variable pricing, where like Mario Kart, for example, is $80, but then they put, you know, Welcome Tour at $10. If we can see more games that like go towards like the cheaper end, then I guess I can excuse buying like a couple games. Like maybe if once a year they have one $80 game, then fine, whatever. But like we've seen that if you don't have Nintendo Switch online to get the free upgrades for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you know, if you've never played those games before, you're spending $70 on Breath of the Wild and then $80 on Tears of the Kingdom. Again, if you're buying it from scratch, if you're just buying the upgrades and you don't have NSO, then it's $10. And if you do have NSO, then it's free for those two particular games. But then you also have like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is a $60 game base, and then the upgrade for that is $20, because it comes with like a whole new DLC campaign, which, you know, again, the variable pricing thing, I'll see how I feel about that. But right now, I don't really have faith in Nintendo because they're going to say this, and then most games are going to be at their higher end of the pricing, I feel. And like Prime Remastered was $40 initially, and still is, which is great. But like that was the only time Nintendo's ever had like a first party game that wasn't like $60 or $50 on Switch. So I'm mad. I'm mad at these prices. That's all there is to it. You have anything else to add, or should we move on to your topic, Mel?
I think I don't know. It's just heartbreaking to see that everything's getting more expensive.
I agree.
In a time where it's like things that were supposed to be affordable ways to get into these hobbies and these like experiences are no longer becoming affordable. You got wrestling tickets going up in price. You got games going up in price. Groceries going up in price. Someone needs to cut us a fucking break.
Definitely. How much is the Oblivion remaster?
So the Oblivion remaster, get this, is actually $50 new.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
They've released it
Shadow
cheaper
dropped
than
it.
what it actually needed. Yep, and they just shadow dropped it on April 22nd out of nowhere. So
we say out of nowhere, but like I do have to state the Oblivion remaster probably is one of the worst kept industry secrets ever, because I feel like we've known about this for like 2 years. Like from like Bethesda
there's
people.
Been leaks. There have been a lot of leaks, but I don't take a lot of stock into leaks because you never know.
True.
And as bad as that sounds, like I don't take a lot of stock into.
No, that's fair.
Leaks.
That's fair.
Now, this Elder Scrolls Oblivion was remade by a team called Virtuos or Virtuos. Let me Virtuous. It could be that. Let me make sure before I sound like an idiot. I already do sound like an idiot, chat, but it's okay. Nope, there's no way to have it. It's not virtuoso, but it's We'll just say virtuous. Yeah,
okay.
Right. But so essentially, these guys are usually a part of a lot of projects. Actually, there's some big ones like the company that is doing Metal Gear Solid 3, the remake, the Delta one.
Yeah,
is the company that had a large part of in hand of developing the Oblivion remastered.
Really? They did like both at the same time.
Yep, they're a part of the same projects right now. You can actually look it up on their like actual page. They also partook in Outer Worlds, which was the a competitor made against Fallout a while back. They also are part of Kerbal Space Program for anyone that likes that. Hogwarts Legacy was a game they partook in. Nier Automata End of Yora edition. They have a lot of different games underneath their chain. Astral Chain is there. LA Noire was there for them in 2017.
Okay.
But essentially, these guys are really well known for doing a lot of remakes and stuff like that. And so essentially, when they shadow dropped this, like I said, I saw all the leaks that happened like the day before, and I had no, I didn't pay too much attention to it. Turns out the reason why people knew about this coming was because Game Pass actually leaked it.
Wait, what? How did Game
Yeah.
Pass leak
So,
it?
for those of you who don't want to pay $50 to play this experience, Game Pass released this day one, but they accidentally put it on their store early.
Like before the actual announcement happened?
Yeah, yeah. So they just showed it off on the store accidentally. So now, as someone who has been a really big fan of the game, I really enjoy it. It's been fantastic. Like I said, this game was my life when I was like 9. You know, parents are getting divorced in the background. That's all I had to me. I would. That's how I actually learned how to read really well. Was I'd read all. I've read all of the Sky Oblivion books. I mean, not Skyrim. I'm so used to
Yeah.
saying Skyrim after like 10 years. Um. So me and this game go back a little bit ways, and I can tell you that for the most part, this is the experience that you should have when you play this game.
So I've
The le-
never played this. So you say go all in with the Oblivion remake. Now I do have a question
I,
for you.
I absolutely feel that you will not lose anything playing the remake versus the original, except for more money.
Okay.
You will
Um
gain everything.
I have two things to comment. One, what is your thoughts on the audacity of them selling the horse armor again separately?
Oh, I was actually about to bring that up right now.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about me: I played Oblivion originally on 360,
Mm-hmm.
and 360 that was where the horse armor was at. It was I think it was like 300 Microsoft points to get the horse armor.
Yeah. And
It
now
was
it's
like
just
200,
paid
it was
DLC.
like 250. Yep, it was just now it's just now to get no, the horse armor is included with the game if you buy the base game. The base horse armor that everyone like knows about that you got in your fucking in like back in the day, that is included with the game without the deluxe edition. But if you buy the deluxe edition and you want to go and get horse armor there, they do give you horse armor in that. I'll send it to you in the chat if you want to see it. I don't know if you want to like put it up on stream and let people see it.
Yeah, I'll throw this up. Just gotta save this image.
But essentially, yeah, you get custom. They have deluxe horse armors that come with the game, which I don't know about you. That's fucking hilarious to me. That is like almost them embracing the meme as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. My other question for you is so I feel like this might be slightly biased because you've already stated that you prefer Oblivion to other Elder Scrolls, but I was going to ask the question: Oblivion
I
or Skyrim? What is the
that is
game I
a
should be playing if I've never played this series really that much? I say I've never played it. I have played like 30 minutes to an hour of Skyrim. I don't really count that. I didn't get into it. It
I
wasn't for
guess
lack of trying. I didn't get into it at the time, but I'm willing to give him a shot.
for me in this regard, uh I guess it comes down to a lot of story versus gameplay.
Okay.
I think I think the problem is like Oblivion plays really well. Oblivion, so the major differences are Skyrim you can dual wield like two swords, or you can
Mm-hmm.
have a spell in your left hand and a sword in your right hand, or you can have two spells in each hand and shoot like different spells, or you can use two of the same spell and combine it together in one hand to make more power. The the Skyrim game like engine is a little bit more new, a little bit more modern. It has like like some like actual combat that's a little bit different there, a little bit more weight in your swings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But lock picking is significantly more boring than Oblivion. There's trade offs between the two. Like persuasion checks in Skyrim are just click a button, it'll roll a die for you. In Oblivion, there's an actual mini game that for persuasion. So
Okay.
it's I would like to think Oblivion's slightly more in depth than Skyrim, but Skyrim is the more new user friendly experience.
I heard that they changed a lot about how the level up system works in Oblivion. Do you have any input on that?
It's actually significantly better, I think.
So how was it
I don't
bad
think
before compared to what it is now? I don't really know much.
so. So beforehand, what you would do is you'd go roll your class, and what they'd want you to do is the trick was you picked all the skills you wanted to use as your minor skills,
Mm-hmm.
because the reason why you would do that instead of making them your major like spec skills was because you would level up each of your skills individually, and your major ones were the only ones that would actually level you up. So you would want to go and make all the ones you wanted to use as your minor ones, so that way you could level those up without actually increasing the difficulty of the game. And
Okay.
it would also help you determine what attribute points you get, because originally you did not get to pick whether or not you got like 10 points into strength or 10 points into magic. Now you actually get to distribute those points, and all skills level you up.
Okay.
People are probably complaining about the scaling of the game, because once you hit level 10, it does get a little bit more difficult. But my response to that is, unfortunately, get good.
Skill issue.
I don't know about you, but allow me to elaborate what I was doing. I'm a thief, so I decided to make a stealth build my first time through.
Uh-huh.
Uh, this is the first time I've ever done anything related with alchemy, and so I am now the world's shittiest V8 salesman.
Okay.
I will walk into people's hotels, steal every single ounce of food from them, and I'll take them up into my 10 gold room that I checked out from that hotel, and I'll proceed to grind them all into potions with a mortar and pestle. So, like, I'll just take tomatoes and corn and just grind them up and put them in a drink. And I just did that. I kept doing that, and I just kept stealing it. And what made it funny was you can't sell stolen items unless you have like a thieves guild merchant. Not if you blend them and put them into V8.
Because now it's a new item.
Exactly. So I fucking became a crooked vegetable juice salesman, and I've made the most money I've ever seen in the game.
don't
I have
don't
two
they
hundred
have
thirty
like
thousand gold.
Jesus?
I've
Don't they have
never.
like
I've
cheese and shit? What's a
Yeah,
cheese
yeah.
V8 gonna
I
be
throw
like?
those in there. I throw those in there. Yeah, like
A
I throw
cheese
everything in there.
drink.
You want to fuck you want seeds and tomatoes. You want corn. I just put foods in them. I just blend foods together and they restore fatigue. I'm an energy supplement salesman, but I steal all of the food from the hotels and then sell it back to them in a blended form. Could you imagine some fucking guy doing that in real life, just showing up with a blender, renting a hotel room, and then just sitting there stealing all of the fucking. You see him throwing steaks and like fucking like porridge and shit in there, and he just comes out with this slush, pours it into a bottle, and puts like a shitty cork that he found on the ground inside of it, and hands it to the clerk just to sell it back for more room.
Have I ever told you about when I was a kid? I had my own little potion that was something similar to what we're describing now. Where
Oh
like
jeez.
I was playing like Wind Waker, right? And like there's like the potion shop there where you use the chew jelly, and I was like, as a kid, I was like, I want to make my own potions. So what I did was I took milk and apple juice, and then I mixed them together, and I'm like, this one restores 4 hearts. And then I drank it, and I thought I was super cool, and I then vomited.
Oh no.
It did not restore any hearts, as a matter of fact. It was awful. I think he just had a sample of this potion over there just now. Actually, you okay over there, buddy?
I fucking I did something similar back in the day. Mine was just mine actually ended up being good though. I myself thought, oh, I'll take this milk, I'll take some of this ice cream, I'll take some of this vanilla extract in the thing that looks really good. It smells good. Maybe that'll be good in the potion. And then I threw also a stick or two of celery into it.
Celery.
Yeah, I was like, there
Yeah,
you go.
let's get that fiber. Yeah.
I was like, that looks good. That's what the I don't know why, but I mean, I made a pretty decent shake actually.
Yeah. It's the celery shake, huh?
Uh, Now what made it problematic was I poured half the bottle of vanilla into it.
Oh no. Yeah, vanilla's extremely strong. You only want like a little drip of
A
that.
capful, like literally a
Yeah.
capful, if you do anything with it. Ooh boy.
What was that experience like for you? You said it was
I,
good.
I remember liking it, and I remember going to bed afterwards.
And you didn't die. You're here today, so
Yeah, I don't remember what I did after that. I think I was just full from it. I was like, I'm gonna go lay down. Oh yeah, I put peanut butter in there as well.
what the fuck? Peanut butter with vanilla, it sounds like a weird combination to me. I don't know. Maybe that's not based of me. I don't know. I've never
The worst
heard.
part is,
Go
I
ahead.
think if I'm correct, I think vanilla is like straight up an anti-inflammatory and stuff too. So my ass just threw something healthy in there.
I don't. Is it? Is vanilla considered healthy? Is vanilla extract healthy? According to the AI
Oh,
overview, is yes.
yeah, a
It's an
study shows that smelling
antioxidant.
vanilla calms newborn babies having blood before having their blood taken. It eases toothaches. It reduces obesity and cholesterol.
Yeah, it can be used traditionally for digestive problems like bloating and stomach pains. And it has anti-inflammatory properties. I didn't know that about vanilla. What the fuck?
Some people add vanilla extract to their body wash or lotions, or even use it to make bug repellent.
What? I don't. Well, I guess I like the smell of vanilla, but like, what?
I'm down to fuck with that. I actually just did some fucking nice lotion and just. And then accidentally forget that I have vanilla in the lotion, and then just smell like a bakery down there for half a year.
So, tell me more about the Oblivion remaster. How's other than the level up system, what else is like new or changed that's making you like? Is this just an experience where it's like it's been so long since you played the game, and now that it has this new coat of paint on it, that it's like fantastic? Or have there
It's
been other
so
significant changes that make you go like, whoa?
so for like many like for like a decade or two,
Hmm.
a lot of people have believed firmly that was a really like, one of the best games ever made of all time. Solid gameplay, really solid gameplay, which is why it's like hard to compare Skyrim and Oblivion because I think both games are tens, but just for different reasons.
Hmm.
And it's like the problem with Oblivion was it's always looked like
Dog
it looks
water.
gross. It looks really fucking gross for a
Yeah.
while. Like even back when it came out, it did not look like a 360 game.
Hmm. I mean, that would have been pretty early 360, right? How long was it? When did
I
the 360 come out? 2005? Or
think
was it
so. Hold on.
2006?
I think it
I
was
can I, I
2005.
I can look it up. Hang on. Keep going.
I got it. Yeah, it was 2005. November 2005.
Okay.
And
Late
then
2005 then.
Oblivion, the original Oblivion came out in
2013.
2006.
Oblivion 2013 film.
Oh.
Sorry. Bad joke.
So, 6 months after the 360 release, Oblivion came out on March 20th, 2006. Oblivion is a little bit older than my brother.
Okay.
That's gonna be a hell of a way to remember how old the Oblivion is.
And when is your brother's birthday again?
He's 30th, March 30th,
Okay. So
2006.
10 days.
But wow, you really remember the anniversary for that game so well, Mel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's like it always suffered from looking really ugly. But it was such a good game inherently. And It had like in-depth gameplay with like the sword, like some you could have a sword in your hand, you could do magic in your hand with the same sword as long as like having a shield. They had acrobatics, so you would level up just from jumping, and you could like eventually get your jump to the point where you could just jump on water.
Mm-hmm.
They had running in there to where you could get fast enough to where I think you could even like run on water.
Yeah, fucking Jesus.
And then Oblivion also had a make your own magic spell capability if you finished out the mage quest line. So you could just sit there and just try out different spells that you create. I remember as a kid I had a triple burst spell that would shoot fire, lightning, and ice at 50 damage apiece, insta killing everything, but it would just drain all my magic out. One shot. You put a boss up against me, kabam! Alright, I'm drained, but he's dead. Like, just, it was such it really needed that fresh coat of paint, is the thing.
Yeah.
It needed that fresh coat of paint. It needed some bug fixes, which I think they did. And then, I think the leveling system changed it dramatically to make it a better game.
Under the hood, is this like the same game, or do you think this was like remade from the ground up?
From what I'm told, from what I know, it's a mixture of Unreal 5 and the original engine.
Okay.
So it's, for the most part, to me, as someone who's playing this, it all feels directly the same. Like,
Okay.
same, like, engine, same noises, same, like, button presses, same, like, weight of everything. Physics feels the same. But from what they said, they remade the game in Unreal 5, essentially.
Okay.
And I think it's really nice that it includes both the DLCs for everyone to have. And I think the deluxe version is there for people who just want a little bit more. And I bought it for the art book, personally.
Would you recommend this game at its full price, or should I wait for a sale?
I think you will not be cheated by $50.
Okay.
I think you'll be fulfilled by $50. I think it's very fair. I think the game was already a 10 before. I think now
it's an 11 out of 10.
As I'm older and my tastes have changed a little bit, it's like a 9.5.
Okay. Based. So then, is this still your favorite Elder Scrolls then?
I think this probably is, yes.
And when do you expect to see Elder Scrolls 6?
Let me rephrase, but also go back to what I was saying too, real quick, because I had actually more I was gonna add on.
Okay.
The reason why I think this one is my favorite is because I have to take in consideration what Oblivion or what Skyrim was without mods. I'm playing Oblivion without mods right now. Skyrim I've always had modded.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the reason why I don't put Skyrim on the same height as Oblivion. But at the same time, playing both vanilla, I mean, I love both vanilla as well, and that's the only reason why I'm like, I don't necessarily remember how well Skyrim holds up with vanilla.
Do you expect to see the modding scene for Oblivion go crazy with this game, or do you think not? How are you feeling?
They've already made it to where you can play Oblivion VR.
Okay.
Within the day of release, so I think the modding scene's gonna do something with it.
The question, I don't know if there's like dragons like there is in Skyrim, but how many things are going to be just like Thomas the Tank Engine, like dragons like in Skyrim or stuff like that?
I don't think we'll see anything like that because there aren't dragons in Oblivion. There are like ogres and trolls though, so I'm
Thomas
sure we will
the Tank Engine ogres, Shrek ogres.
We'll see Shrek, yeah, absolutely. I firmly believe we'll see Shrek.
Based.
I firmly believe also that the way Oblivion looks is going to be sort of the direction I think 6 is going to end up looking like when the new one comes out.
In 2031.
I think my best guess will be 2028.
Still think it's 3 years out, huh?
If even that.
If even.
I don't think we'll get I don't think we'll get some Elder Scrolls 6 before GTA 6. But at the
Probably
same
not.
time, I can't say that because
Doesn't
they
GTA
do just
6
chat.
have a release date? We haven't even seen footage of Elder Scrolls 6, so that seems pretty reasonable to me.
Really, Elder Scrolls 6, GTA 6 got pushed back to next year, first May.
Yeah, it's on
Not
May
May.
26th.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So that happens next year at least. But coming back into this with Oblivion, or what's sorry, not with Oblivion, with Elder Scrolls 6, they do just shadow drop stuff is the problem. They like Fallout 4 was a shadow drop. There was no like actual like wind up time for Fallout 4 except for like a month. So I don't know. For all I know, we might not see anything on Elder Scrolls 6. They might keep that shit under wrap until it is time to go.
I hope they do, because, like, I mean, I feel like they announced it far too early, but also at the same time, maybe they were just announcing it just to be like, yes, we are working on it. Stop asking. Um,
That's what it was.
yeah. But, like,
Like entirely.
honestly, like, for me, I kind of just don't want to know about, like, I mean, I guess it is good to know that yes, they are working on it. Stop asking. I guess that is useful information, but also at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to know about this until like it's actually closer to being revealed. Which I guess really technically that is exactly what they have done. They have confirmed that it exists, and then they showed quite literally nothing, and then we're not going to get that information I think until closer to. So I'm expecting, yeah, still probably another few years on that.
Like
Um,
I said, I'm thinking 2028.
Now, there is one further question I have for you, and that is, do you expect to now see remasters on this tier of other Elder Scrolls games, like even before Oblivion?
Uh, my theory is not that it's going to be Elder Scrolls. I do think maybe we might see a Morrowind. That's the third one
Mm-hmm.
remade because that's a lot of people's favorites. Actually, is the third one because that one's far different from Oblivion as well. They're all very unique games. Is the thing. So
Hmm.
there's no like one doesn't directly feel like a sequel to the other sometimes. Now on Fallout, that is not the case because Fallout kind of had a Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask situation with New Vegas,
Yeah. And
where
Fallout's had a bit of a resurgence lately too, it seems.
no, yeah, if I had to pick one, I would absolutely personally like Fallout New Vegas to get a remake of this scale.
Yeah.
I
Is there
think
any is there any word on like a new Fallout or no?
not anytime soon.
Sadly.
I don't think well, I mean that the reason why I would like to see a Fallout New Vegas remaster also is the the show itself, like the actual Fallout show is going to New Vegas.
Hmm.
And
That'd be a
because of that,
good way
I
to tie it
think
in.
yeah, I absolutely think this would be the time to go and like grab that like that game in particular and remake it. Now
Now,
that being said, New
if the
Vegas was made by Obsidian, but all of
oh,
them are owned by Xbox now.
I was
So
I was gonna say, if they just remade this game, Oblivion, do you think that was already in development with that in mind, or like how far off would you expect this Fallout remaster to be?
uh if it was coming, I think we would get it with the show.
And when is that supposed to
Because
air?
I know they tried to do that before where they like did a big Fallout update um as soon as the show dropped and fucked everyone's mods up. It
What
is
was it? Just
currently
like a bug
made.
fix update, or
They did like a next gen update pretty much where they gave
Mm,
everyone like better graphics and like optimized it. But the problem is they hadn't updated the game in like 6 years, so everyone was comfortable in working with the mods that they had. And now all of a sudden, all of them got ruined in one fell swoop.
yeah.
Which is why you might have heard of the Fallout London scenario, where Fallout London was a massive fan overhaul done by a group where they made an entire map based in London. It's practically the size of its own Fallout game, and they updated the game like a month or two, like or a month or like a couple weeks before that was supposed to drop, and fucked up their entire progress
It did
to the
eventually come
point.
out though, right?
Yeah, they worked with Project CD Red, who owns GOG, which is Good Old Games, and
Hmm.
Good Old Games essentially came out with a Fallout downgrader,
Huh.
where it
Just
would
to
just
get
roll
that to
back
run.
your, just to get it to run. They had to make it to where they would just roll back the fucking update.
Did they ever get Fallout London to work with the update or?
I haven't checked back in recently. I don't know,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Okay.
I can find out now. Actually,
Sure.
did they ever update Fallout London to work? I'm not seeing anything about it.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to touch on regarding the Oblivion remaster, or are you ready to move on to pop culture?
I legitimately think that for those of you who may have missed out on this opportunity to experience this game, I absolutely think there something there for you all to have and enjoy. All of the memes that you've seen throughout the years in the background, this is their natural environment. Period. And that's why it's just worth looking into. It's worth playing. It's worth checking out.
How long? This is my final question. How long do you think a typical playthrough for someone who's just gonna kind of like go through the game, maybe dick around a little, but just kind of play it and experience it? Maybe not fully get into it, but just like play the game. How long do you expect me to take with this game? I guess is my question because I've got so many
So
other long games I'm playing right now.
it's open world and it's kind of one of those you set your own goals, kind
Hmm.
of where you have a main quest line. I guess at the end of that day, it comes down to when you want to be done. Like, do you want to experience all the different side quests and stuff like that? Because there's a bunch of different guilds. Like, there's a mage guild, there's a thieves guild, a assassins guild, and a fighters guild.
Hmm.
Like, they have all of those. There's a whole other like island that's in DLC called the Shivering Isles, and
Hmm.
that's really neat. It has like a chaotic mad god. Um, and like it's just in regards, like say if you were to show up, you wanted to just do the main quest and then maybe do the guild that best suits your stats, because obviously you're either gonna go mage, warrior, or stealth guy.
Hmm.
Which a stealth guy is the one that kind of fits for everyone because you can get away with everything with it, kinda. Warrior's the same way. Mage is a little bit tougher, but mage ends up being broken in the end. But for you, I'd probably say you could easily get like a whole like 40 hours out of it if you wanted to.
Okay.
Like easy.
And you said you're up to like 60, right?
Yeah. And I haven't done everything yet.
Have you ever 100%ed the game? Like done everything?
Yeah.
How long did that
I have
take?
whew, maybe I definitely played it only for a year and I was homeschooled. So it was either that or like chores.
Right?
So it I got my with worth out of it. I explored every location now. Like every
Hmm.
location.
Yeah.
But for you, like if you wanted to run through the main quest line and then do like a side one than the DLC, it'll probably take like 30 hours.
Okay. Base. I'll be sure to check it out probably at some point. Because for me,
Don't worry, pay
well,
full price. You can get Game Pass for a month and then try it there.
true, true. I feel like I'd be interested enough to actually buy it. It's just right now I've like I said, I haven't been playing anything for like the last month because I've been moving, but once I am fully settled in, I'm gonna get back to Xenoblade X, which I'm still loving. And then obviously Mario Kart in the Switch 2 comes out in a month from now, which is insane that it's already that close. And I probably won't have my Switch day one, from what my grandma was telling me. She said it's getting shipped to her house through like Target. And so like I expect to maybe have it like maybe a week or two later, but I'll be playing that at
God,
least
that's still
once I
so
do get
cool,
it.
though. You got that, though.
Yeah, trust me, I don't even like I didn't even know how to react when my sister like texted me and was like, "Hey, did you get a Switch 2 pre-order?" And I was like, "No, I didn't have the money, and I also forgot about the pre-orders." And then she's like, "No problem, I got you." And I was like, "What do you mean you got me?" And so
Fun
yeah,
fact: I found out that when you go to sign up for the email notifications through Nintendo to see if you can get the pre-orders, it
hmm
actually goes to the head of who your Nintendo Online account is.
okay, so that would have been
So,
me. So
yep, you
I
might want to
mean,
check your email.
okay, I'll check my email. Yeah, I did see that actually. Yeah, one per family plan. Which for those who aren't in the know, like me, Melvin, Austin, and a few other friends, like my girlfriend is in there too. We all just are in the same family plan for this.
Gabe, you're not supposed to reveal that you have a girlfriend. You're supposed to form a parasocial relationship with your viewers so they can you can be in a relationship with you.
No.
Stop
Um,
that.
I don't have any emails from Nintendo. Um, when did you do this?
No, it was I did it like the day they announced that we could do it too.
Uh,
So I just it's been a minute.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all of my
It's
emails from
very
them, and
likely we didn't get picked at all. I didn't know it was gonna go to you. I was like, well, you know what? If he gets it off of me applying, then
yeah. Um. All right, let's go through our I got to get going here in the next like 30 minutes, so let's go speed round with pop culture and then grab bag. Pop culture. We were talking about this right before the show started. Melvin, you want to lead into this?
so I have been asking for a long time a Game of Thrones where Westeros is cool. Westeros is amazing. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what Game of Thrones is, it's a series developed by HBO that was made from a series of books called A Song of Ice and Fire. Um, A Song of Ice and Fire sits place in a. We mentioned this earlier, where you either have Tolkien fantasy or you got George R. R. Martin fantasy. So
All right.
in this big world, everyone's miserable, everything's sad, everything's just like, ugh. I love it. I eat that shit up for breakfast. I don't know why. And
You put any
so
like
while I
salt
was
on
looking,
it? Any
I
salt or
did put a little bit of
pepper?
salt on there, yes. I
Seasoning
just know
salt
that
or just like sea salt? What kind of salt?
while I was fucking around, looking around, I found a fucking mobile game that is being ported over to. I don't know if it's a mobile game exactly, but it's got mobile game currencies just being implemented into this single player RPG
On Steam.
on Steam. It's called Game of Thrones King's Road.
And the
I don't.
reviews are in. This game came out like 2 months ago, and we didn't even realize it, or like a little more than a month ago. And the reviews are in, and people don't like it. Well, some
It's
people like
mixed.
it,
It's
but it's
very mixed.
mixed. Yeah, go figure.
I'll read this
Licensed
top one
Game of
first.
Thrones. Yeah.
Not recommended. I'm just really over this game complete and ultimately would just like my money back from black loading screen for hours to losing hours of gameplay, and now they removed the game from family share. And my son literally brought the game just for me, so now I can't even play it. It's really been nothing but a bad experience from the start.
Wait, I thought the guy said he wanted his money back. If his son bought the game, then he doesn't get it. It wasn't his money.
Last night I was able to log in fine. Today, no access unless we spend another $25.
So we were talking about this before the show because you were like, I really want a Game of Thrones game. And then I was like, what, you mean like Elden Ring? And then you were like, no, like this. And then this came up and like, I don't know, it seems like it's just like licensed slop, and then there's like a battle pass, and like you can get a horse armor like the Oblivion remaster if you get the deluxe ultimate edition. I mean, it certainly seems like a game, but I don't know shit about Game of Thrones. I've never seen the show, I've never read the books, and I'm probably going to keep it that way because I heard that the show ends like dog water, and I mean, I heard the books can potentially be better, but like the books will never be finished because George R.R. Martin is too busy sticking his thumb up his asshole, I believe, is the last thing I heard about that.
I mean, how many times have I ranted about George R.R. Martin on this podcast? I think we're aware of he's not gonna be finishing that shit.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know about how much on the podcast, but you've definitely talked to me a lot about it over the years, and I'll say at least the games.
Like, why the fuck would you just not want to finish your story? Stop fucking writing other goddamn stories. I don't care about your fucking stupid fucking world. Just finish the goddamn main goddamn plot, so that way we can move the fuck on to the other cool stories you got in your fucking world. Everyone, wow, you're mad that everyone keeps asking you why you can't finish a fucking book, George?
Fucking George.
Oh, I wish people would stop asking me about Winds of Winter. Maybe finish it!
Jesus. Hang on. I gotta...
my entire theory is that the way the show ended was how his book was going to end, and he went, "Oh fuck, people didn't like that. I better change that."
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot too, actually.
I've been saying it since the day it happened. I was like, oh god, that's how he had it written out originally. He must have. He fucking must have, because he has fucking not done anything to make the scenario any better.
You want to read some more of these bad reviews?
Yeah, we can read more. I was gonna say, when you want to look up other terrible licensed products, we can go look up fucking Walking Dead.
Here's one. Frustrating, period. Disappointing, period. Money grab, period. Crippled gameplay, period. Wasted potential, period. These are the words that come to mind when I think of GOT Kings Road. Visually, the game is well done. Great sound, excellent soundtrack, and the storytelling is very well done. The combat can be challenging, fun most times, but the block and parry is awful, even with the appropriate build. Those are the good points. Now for the bad. This game will require you to use an in-game currency called RP tokens, which, if you don't subscribe, you get a limited amount per day. I flip for the sub, so I get 30 RP a day. I average about 170 RP per day, which equates to less than 4 hours of solid gameplay before you run out. You can recharge the RP, but that costs another type of currency. So, once you've run out of RP tokens, you can no longer claim loot from dungeons, and the like of which leaves you with nothing else to do than log off. This goes on, by the way. This guy like has like fucking 6 paragraphs here.
Yeah, every review I'm clicking on this, each one has like fucking headers and like full paragraphs. People are writing essays about this.
Yeah. Let's read one of the good ones, actually.
I've got one for you, yeah. A mobile game at heart, but a standout experience on PC. Going into Game of Thrones Kingsguard. King's Road. I didn't really know what to expect. However, after spending over 40 hours with the Steam Next Fest demo, I was pleasantly surprised by how engaging the combat turned out to be. Details about King's Road. He's only played the demo? Wait, so he's at 40 hours on the Steam Next Fest and he put 17 hours into the game. Okay. Anyways, so but King's Road has been relatively scarce since its initial announcement at the Game Awards, and given that it was originally built as a mobile game, I wasn't holding my breath. So it was originally built as a mobile game. Thankfully, it's not solely mobile, and the PC version already feels like a promising experience, especially now in its early access phase.
I got a good one.
Here, go ahead.
This one's a positive review. It says 40 hours in, and I'm not a review guy, but the microtransactions aside, it's a decent game. Nothing is locked, and you can farm for the needed items to craft gear. The only wall you'll hit is momentum. I do feel that there are more opportunities, spelled OPPERTUNITIES, opportunities, to make more co-op, but alas, only time will tell. Story is great and is being done through the eyes of Lesser House's bastard and is not a major character or house. I don't know what I just read, but I just liked the way they spelled opportunities. That made me laugh.
3 classes, 3 styles, and a wealth of options. Even though there are only 3 playable classes in the game so far, this doesn't feel like a limitation. The class progression system is surprisingly deep, with trait trees that allow you to specialize in attack, defense, or support. Each class also has its own set of skills, which you can... Well, see, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty bad. Yeah, what are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know which ones are like...
I got a review.
These.
Alex Ander Falcor with 5.4 hours on record. Great game! That's the end of the review.
As soon as I died and was asked to pay to be revived, I quietly exited the game and refunded.
So one thing I saw was, and we talked about this before the show, apparently they modded or modified the game to no longer work with joypads. I'm seeing a review for that as well. Not playable on joypad as of today, posted yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about today. Earlier, we were looking at this before we should. So how do you remove gamepad support on Steam when you're trying to have it? You probably want your fucking game to run on Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it even says partial controller support.
Yeah, not anymore. Now it's no controller support. Product receipts for free. I think this is the best game this year. You all love it. A lot of action in the game. That is the grammar that they wrote. You all love it. A lot of action in the game.
He can know what he's talking about, though. He might be dumb as hell in that grammar, but maybe not all of us were gifted with the English.
Well, he received the product for free, so he was gifted the game instead of that.
Not buying the game. Oh, I didn't realize. I just I went to go see if it was discounted anywhere else. No, it's still $25 everywhere else. Yeah. But then I just looked. There's the Telltale version of Game of Thrones. I didn't know this, but that's $80 to get a hold of now.
Jeez. Oh my God, $80 games.
That got discontinued. That's why.
But you can still play it on Steam, right?
I have it, yeah, so I can go play it whenever. That might be a stream I do in the future. Or something, I don't know. But I think we've rang this motherfucker dry, but let me go ahead and hit up one more thing.
I got one more, actually. This one's insane to me. Best combat of any in the genre and a great story, and soon will be free to play with no pay-to-win aspects. Posted yesterday. Highly recommended, as it makes you feel like you are truly part of the Game of Thrones world. It makes you feel like Game of Thrones. Good review.
If one doesn't plan to spend money, it can be an alright game. If Battle Pass is like $60+, mysterious letters seem bugged, jumping is shit, the story seems okay, combat hasn't been bad. I would say it is 50 to 50. Maybe watch gameplay footage before spending money. That's a recommended. He put 25 hours into this. There's a guy with 42 hours in this.
I got a guy with 29.4 hours whose review says, Game of Thrones. What else do you want? That's the whole review.
See, that's what's getting me is the open world exploring game of like Westeros. Like, I'd love to walk around Westeros. I like that. I know that world, actually. I like that.
Do you think... Here's the question I have. Do you think George R.R. Martin had anything to do with this game? Like, did he help design the world, or is this just like, licensed slop?
This is the HBO show. Because if you look at one of the trailers, that is the actual actor for Jon Snow in the portrayal. It looks like they look like they use his face. So I'm assuming someone even said it was based on season 4. So it's based off of the show entirely. Which, I mean, the show has good design. I'm not dogging the show. It's just that's what it's based off of. So I wanted to take a second because Steam does this really nice thing when they have early access games where the developers have to actually put time frames. So, and like what they plan to do with their early access games. And this Game of Thrones game is actually a early access one.
Yeah.
So, why early access? Game of Thrones King's Road is about creating your own story in Westeros alongside other players, based on meticulous attention to detail. The game brings the original world and characters to life in an action RPG focus. We're launching it in early access to ensure the best possible experience. We believe it's essential to share the game in its current state with players and evolve it through their feedback before the official launch.
How long will this game be in early access? They say we expect a minimum early access of 4 weeks.
Or longer. Or longer.
Well, it's been longer. Is it still in early access? Looks like it. So it turns out it's or longer.
During the early access, players will begin their journey in the northern regions. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. In the official launch, we plan to introduce the additional areas for players to explore by going into the Stormlands, which that's to the west of Westeros.
The Easteros.
New co-op done. Oh yeah, so I guess co-op isn't actually official, like in there. It's only dungeons that you get co-op.
You have to agree to a third-party EULA in
After
order to
the game's full
get
release,
the game.
Game of Thrones King's Road will be free to play.
This includes 50 chapters of the main storyline. How long are each chapter? What the fuck?
Are the chapters just the quests?
I don't know, but that's what it says.
If this is free to play, should I even bother trying to grab the standard pack then?
I would say probably not. You might as well just wait for it to come out.
Yeah, I wish I could just try the game. That's what I want to do, is just try it.
Steam does like full refunds under certain hours, right?
Yeah, like 2 hours. I would have to like install it and get it and try it and then determine
Put a
whether or not I want it
timer
with those two. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it, chat. I'll do it for you.
Timer.
$25. I'll do it for $25.
There you go.
And I can.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about this game, or are we ready to move on?
No, it just caught me off guard. This game released out of nowhere. And I was like, wait a minute, I know what this is. Hold on.
Yeah. All right.
Anything else you want to wrap up with?
Yeah, for grab bag, I got something quick that we want to just like have a little nostalgia moment over. Let's talk for a moment. I figured with the Switch 2 coming out, I'm not getting mine, day one, but I know a lot of people will be. I wanted to talk about midnight releases and any experience that you have with consoles, systems, other things maybe that aren't game related. I don't know if those things do midnight releases, but let's talk a bit about midnight releases. Melvin, do you have any memorable memories about midnight releases?
I know my favorite one I can think of is the one you and I and Agari actually partook in a triple offensive.
For the Switch one.
Yep. So we split up we all had our shit like split up in different places. I had like mine in like a GameStop. I think Gabe had like some of his games at like a Best Buy,
Mm-hmm.
and Agari had like something else in a different store. I just
Yeah.
know all three of us went to different stores at midnight and then met up at Gabe's house.
And then we all played the Switch, and we played it on stream. There's no recorded evidence of this stream, but we did this thing where like every like what was it, like 10, 15 minutes, I had
Yeah,
like a
we'd have a
timer
timer
thing go
switch out,
off,
and we'd pull it out.
and then we'd pull the Switch out of the dock, and then you'd see it was more just like because we wanted to show like where can you go in Breath of the Wild and how different can each of your gameplay experiences be.
Each of us went different directions actually,
Yeah.
like immediately into different directions.
So like every 15 minutes or so, it switches perspectives, and then you see what Agari's doing for the next 15 minutes, and then switches over and shows what you're doing for the next 15 minutes, and then comes back to me or something like that. And I distinctly remember Agari getting off of the Great Plateau, and he was like right at the foot of it. And I this is like a core memory. He was just like, "Oh my god, the castle's right there!" And he was like right at the foot of the plateau, and the castle's like a 30-minute walk away. But he was like, "It's right there!" And he was getting really scared about it. But so that was a fun memory for me.
I think my ass just ended up just sitting on the plateau, running around, having fun on there for a long time. I don't think I even got off the plateau right away.
I think Austin and I both like tried to see who could get off the plateau first. And I think he actually got off first before me because I was kind of taking my time a little bit too, but like I was also trying to like zoom the fuck through it. And it was a fun stream though. I distinctly remember also so I did the midnight launch for the Switch, obviously. But I also did it for Mario Odyssey like a few months later. And I distinctly remember bringing my Switch to that and then playing like Mario Kart with random people in line. And it was super fun. And if I were to go to a midnight launch for the Switch too, you know, if I were to go to Best Buy and had a pre-order there, I probably would have done the same, like play Smash Brothers or something in line with people, kick their asses, show them that I am the god of this region and no one else can beat me. Or if that is not the case, then I could at least guarantee that with Connect 4 and Clubhouse games, because no one can beat me in Clubhouse games. No one, not even my girlfriend who beat me in Mancala earlier today. That did not happen. It didn't, I promise. Okay.
Because you're a dang cheater.
I'm not a cheater. I just know how Mancala works and Connect 4 and poker because I played Balatro and dots and boxes. I'm real good at dots and boxes. I'm terrible at dots and boxes, by the way. Yeah, I'm great at all of these. Any other midnight releases you went to? I never went to several myself, just a few.
Me and Agari went to the GTA 5 midnight release back in when it first came out on consoles. So that was a big one for us. What else was there? There was one more. Oh, and I took my younger brother to go do the Pokemon one. That one was fun, actually. Everyone was just sitting in little huddles talking about their Pokemon and showing off what they got.
I want to say... So I think my family did the midnight launch for the Wii. I wasn't there, but like... I think my family, like one of my family members scouted. Well, for the record, my uncle on my mom's side of the family, he loves like all video games, and I think he's done midnight launches for like every system, like in his adult life, and like he'll get everything and anything that's like big that comes out as far as like the games themselves. But like, yeah, I remember he was also in line with me at the Best Buy that I went to get the Switch. And fun fact, actually, I only had the base, like I had the colored Switch with the red and blue Joy-Cons, and then I think I just got like a standard copy of Breath of the Wild initially at launch.
I think if I
Not the
recall
special
correctly,
edition.
you were the one that had two
Yeah,
Switch pre-orders, and
I
you
had
gave me one.
two. Yeah, I had two, and I got one for you or someone. I don't remember if it was you. I think it was you, but
Because
um,
you end up getting both of them, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't want both of these." And so you're like, "Do you want to grab the one that doesn't have colored Joy Cons?"
yeah,
And I
yeah.
grabbed the gray ones because I like the gray personally. I really like the default Switch 2 look. Actually, I think the Switch 2 looks cool.
I wish that the Switch 2 actually had a different color scheme. It's only the gray one now.
I'm sure you'll get them.
Probably down the
I'm
line,
sure
yeah.
they'll be there eventually. Yeah.
But the fun part about the Breath of the Wild story was like, so this was like, I was just out of high school at this time. I know, look at me, I'm young. And I went to the Best Buy to get it, and I had a little bit of extra money because I wasn't even moved out of my parents' place at this point yet. So like, I was still relatively young. I had a part-time job at Wendy's at the time. Well, I think it was more full-time hours, but regardless, I had some money and not like a lot of bills. So I had some savings, and I went in line, and within the first 10 people, I was in line, and they had one master edition for Breath of the Wild, which is like the extremely limited edition of Breath of the Wild.
I remember you getting that actually.
Actually, I didn't. I was in line and I wanted it. I was like, I have the money to get this, and the guy in front of me got it, and I was so salty. So I just got the regular one, and then later down the road, like a few months later, I went to a GameStop and they had the regular special edition, and I was like, it's not the master edition. It doesn't come with the Master Sword statue, but I'll take it. And so to this day, actually, that limited edition came with a really like a hard plastic like a Sheikah slate carrying case for the Switch. To this day, that is my carrying case of choice because it's extremely durable. Even like regular carrying cases that you get like can ordinarily buy for the Switch are not as durable as this Sheikah slate one was, and it's kind of insane. And I still have the big box for the special edition. I kept that around all these years, and I have the little like map of Hyrule that came with it as well, and I have that on a shelf somewhere that I still need to unpack, I think. So I remember getting that and like being kind of bummed that I couldn't get the master edition, because the master edition itself, as far as pre-orders were concerned, I had no shot. I tried, I couldn't get it. And then I think like because I was focused on the master edition, I spent so much time refreshing that page trying to get it that I also missed out on the limited edition initially, which is why like when I first got the game, I just had a regular physical copy of the game, just standard box. And then, you know, down the road, I ended up, I think, selling that physical copy to a friend and then getting the limited edition for myself. I can't really think of very many other like midnight releases. I want to say I would have been still in high school at this time, but I want to say I did it anyways. I want to say I went to the midnight release of Majora's Mask 3D, because like Majora's Mask is like my favorite game of all time. And like even back then, like I really wanted to play the 3D version, so I think I like camped out at GameStop for that. But yeah, it was crazy. Do you remember the Wii's launch at all, Melvin?
No, not really, actually.
Because I like I said, I didn't scout out for the Wii myself. I think my family did, but I distinctly remember driving by a Toys R Us, or like my dad was driving, obviously, by a Toys R Us, and like I'm talking like 8 hours before the launch of the thing, I remember seeing people in tents lined up outside of that Toys R Us waiting for that thing. The Wii was fucking insane.
I am old enough to remember the PlayStation 2 launch.
I'm old enough to remember it. I just choose not to.
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
I still remember like my mom holding my hand and I was like 5 walking across the street. And you just see all of them like just sitting there lined up all around the building at Best Buy.
Yeah. When it comes to like modern games these days, I just typically get them digitally if I really want them right at midnight. So like the idea of the modern midnight release is kind of not there for me. I do remember I had a digital copy of Smash Brothers Ultimate as a midnight release and staying up all night for that. And I remember my internet going out right when it turned midnight, which fucking pissed me off. And I got really stressed. And I also had a stream planned. And that obviously couldn't happen while my internet was dying. And then once it did finally come back, then Nintendo's servers were lagging like fucking hell and back because they couldn't handle the influx of people trying to get the game all at once. And that was a nightmare. I remember that too. But that was just a digital copy that I had and was at home. But these days, I'm usually like working at midnight anyway, so like I can't play a game right at midnight, so I don't really participate in that anymore. What about you?
It's just at a point now to where digitally it's convenient. I live in like bumfuck Indiana, so I have to journey to a game store if I want anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It is what it is. It makes me sad because there is some camaraderie that was there before, but I just don't think it's as well. It's there as much now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, Mr. Surge, I believe that is going to be what we call a wrapping up of our show.
You are correct, my dear sir, WaterMelvin. Where can the people find you, by the way?
WaterMelvin seems to be the name I'm going by. Unfortunately, I don't really have any projects I'm trying to work on. I have a lot of shit going on right now. But there will be projects eventually.
Don't I know that?
Yep. Car broke down. Trying to make sure I don't lose my job.
Yeah, that's definitely important.
Thing right now.
Yeah.
That is my life right now.
Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that after stream too, but I hope you are able to get that fixed, my guy, because that, I mean, I've dealt with some car problems somewhat recently, and it wasn't even my car, but it was just like it's stressful. I get it. Like it's not good, especially when like initially you don't know what the fuck the problem even is, which from what I understand was like you figured it out, but like what's the situation again? If you want to talk about it, you don't have to.
There's something going on with my fuel sensor essentially now, which means I got to rip my car back open again and rip it all the way apart and then put the new sensor in. But I got to go get the sensor, and that's like a hour walk, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, and you're the only one in your house with a car, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Well, maybe, you know, I'll talk to you off stream potentially about details, but if you needed a ride, I could probably, you know, help you out with that. But we'll talk a little after the show regarding that. Okay. Regarding me, I'm the guy that is hosting the show. So if you're watching the show, you know where to find me. It's right here. Twitch.tv/GabrielSurgeVA. You can find episodes previous of Pixel Pulse at youtube.com/@gamingoutletvideo. I have not formally made the announcement yet on my channel, but after this moving process is all completed, I plan on streaming a little bit less and putting more of a focus on doing YouTube content, some of which you'll see on Gaming Outlet, others you'll see over on my what's supposed to be my main channel, GabrielSurgeVA, on YouTube. But other than that, you know, as far as like gameplay is concerned, when I do get back to streaming, it'll be Xenoblade Chronicles X until I finally finish that post game. And then we'll get on to finishing up Okami and maybe play a few other games here and there. But like I said, streaming is going to be a little less frequent after I finish Xenoblade. So that is that. And then Pixel Pulse itself, we're going to be doing once a month. Generally, it's Saturday right now, but we're going to aim, I think, mostly for Fridays. Depending on scheduling, it could be Saturdays or Sundays. You know, we'll play it by ear generally, and you can keep an eye on my Discord for updates, at least regarding on when the show happens. But count on the first Friday of every month. So for next episode, that will be Friday the 6th, which will be the day the Switch 2 comes out. Again, I'm probably not getting that day one, so won't have really much to talk about Switch 2, I think, necessarily on the next episode, but maybe the episode after that I can give you Mario Kart World impressions or something like that. But thank you for watching, everyone. We will see you in a month from now. Goodbye.
Uninstall Steam.
Uninstall Steam.
Live your life. Become human.